In the twilight of the 14th century, as the rigid structures of medieval Europe began to show signs of strain, a quiet but profound transformation was taking root along the sun-drenched banks of the Arno River. This was the dawn of the Renaissance, a movement that would fundamentally reshape European civilization. The term Renaissance itself, derived from the French word for rebirth and the Italian rinascita, captures the era's central ambition to revive the classical learning, art, and values of ancient Greece and Rome after what was then perceived as a long period of cultural decline. Historians once viewed this period, spanning roughly from the 14th to the 17th century, as a dramatic break from a dark medieval past. Modern scholarship, however, sees it more as a complex phase of transition, a crucial bridge between the medieval and early modern worlds, forged by a unique convergence of economic, political, and intellectual forces. As the French historian Jules Michelet observed, the Renaissance was defined by the discovery of the world and the discovery of man, a shift in focus from the collective piety of the Middle Ages to the potential and agency of the individual. If you're enjoying this journey through history, please give the video a like and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring more stories to life. The Cradle of Rebirth, why Italy? The Renaissance did not spread uniformly across Europe. It began in Italy, and its birthplace was the bustling, fiercely competitive city-states of the north. Unlike the feudal monarchies of the rest of Europe, Italy was a patchwork of independent urban centers like Florence, Venice, Milan, and Genoa. The weakening of the Holy Roman Empire's authority and the decline of feudalism allowed these cities to assert their autonomy, creating a political climate where innovation and ambition could flourish. More importantly, their strategic location in the Mediterranean made them the central hubs of a vast and lucrative trade network that connected Europe with the riches of Asia and North Africa. As merchants and bankers grew fabulously wealthy from this commerce, they became a powerful new middle class whose values were rooted in worldly success and earthly pleasures, rather than solely in the promise of an afterlife. This immense wealth was the essential fuel for the Renaissance. It created a class of patrons, powerful individuals and families, who used their fortunes to commission art and sponsor intellectual endeavors. Among them, none were more influential than the Medici family of Florence. Rising from modest merchant beginnings to become the unofficial rulers of the city, the Medici, particularly Cosimo, and his grandson Lorenzo, understood that cultural prestige was a path to political power. They spent lavishly, transforming Florence into a magnet for the greatest creative minds of the age. Cosimo de' Medici funded the construction of the first public library, scouring Europe for classical manuscripts, and sponsored artists like Francis Angelico and Donatello. Lorenzo de' Medici went even further, creating a sculpture garden that became a de facto academy, where young talents like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci could study and learn from ancient statuary. Through their patronage, the Medici ensured that artistic and intellectual achievement was not just respected but aggressively cultivated. The catalysts of change. While Italy's unique conditions set the stage, several powerful catalysts ignited the movement and propelled it across the Alps. The first was the rediscovery of classical texts. For centuries, much of ancient Greek knowledge had been preserved not in Western Europe, but in the libraries of the Byzantine Empire and the Islamic world. This changed dramatically with the Ottoman conquest of Constantinople in 1453. As the thousand-year-old Byzantine capital fell, many Greek scholars fled westward, seeking refuge in Italy. They brought with them not only priceless manuscripts of Greek and Roman literature, philosophy, and science but also the ability to teach their language. This infusion of ancient knowledge provided the raw material for a new way of thinking. This new way of thinking was called Humanism, and its founding father was the 14th-century Italian poet and scholar, Francesco Petrarch. Petrarch championed a new educational curriculum, the Studia Humanitatis, which focused on the study of grammar, rhetoric, history, poetry, and moral philosophy, subjects he believed could cultivate virtuous and active citizens, in contrast to the more abstract logic and theology that dominated medieval scholasticism. He and his followers, like Giovanni Boccaccio, actively sought out and studied classical manuscripts, striving to emulate the elegant Latin prose of Cicero, and the profound ideas of Plato and Aristotle in their original language. This revival of classical learning was not merely an antiquarian exercise, it was a utilitarian project to harness the wisdom of the ancient world for the benefit of modern man, celebrating the dignity of the individual, and the potential for achievement in this life. Finally, the invention of the movable type printing press by Johannes Gutenberg around 1440 ensured that the ideas of the Renaissance would not remain confined to a small elite. Gutenberg's press allowed for the rapid, affordable mass production of books for the first time. An estimated 20 million volumes were printed across Western Europe by 1500, a staggering number compared to the days when scribes could produce only a handful in a lifetime. This sudden abundance of printed material, from ancient classics and humanist tracts to scientific diagrams and satirical pamphlets, broke the churches' and universities' monopoly on knowledge. As literacy rates climbed and ideas spread faster than ever before, the intellectual revolution of the Renaissance was democratized, setting the stage for the religious upheavals of the Reformation, and the scientific discoveries of the early modern era. The Renaissance was not a sudden dawn but a slow, steady sunrise, the product of a unique historical moment. The economic dynamism of Italian city-states, the lavish patronage of families like the Medici, the rediscovery of classical wisdom facilitated by the fall of Constantinople, the humanist focus on individual potential, and the technological revolution of the printing press all converged to create a profound cultural shift. In this rich, fertile soil, the seeds of the modern world were sown, the idea that humanity could shape its own destiny, that knowledge should be pursued for its own sake, and that the world was a place of beauty and reason worthy of exploration and celebration. From the sculpted perfection of Michelangelo's David to the political pragmatism of Machiavelli's The Prince and the cosmic vision of Copernicus, the Renaissance's enduring legacy is the world we still inhabit, one in which the individual stands at the center, empowered by reason and the rediscovered glories of a classical past. Thank you for watching. If you found this history valuable, please like and subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective and keep the conversation going.